Let's take a look at a few other list methods. We just talked about append. That adds something to the end of a list. And in this example, it's interesting because it's adding a list to the end of a list. Let's just do that really quick and see how that plays out, because that's an interesting thing that we can do. Let's comment this out because we don't need it right now. We'll go back up here. And let's create another list. VW helps have an equal sign there. BMW Ford Toyota. Okay, so there's my car list. And what I want to do is I'm going to append. So I'm going to say li fruit dot append, and I'm going to append li cars to that. Well, when I append li cars to that, look what I get. It doesn't combine those lists. It actually just adds that list, the whole list, as another item inside that list. So when we do that, we've got a list that's inside this list. So in my original list, in li fruit, if I address item 0, 1, 2, 3, if I address item 3, it's a list. And then I can treat that like a list. So here's the weird thing you can do with this. Let's move this down a little bit. So if I say print li fruit 2, right? If I print li fruit 2, it prints kiwi. If I print li fruit 3, then I get that whole list. It's just as if I had a list in a regular variable. But let's say I want to address item 3 in that list. So Toyota, so 0, 1, 2, 3, right? If I want to address item 3 in that list, then I can do this. So I'm saying, look inside item 3 of li fruit, and we know that's a list, and so we're going to look inside that list in item 3. And so now I can drill straight down with just a few characters and grab that Toyota. So there's some really interesting things you can do with that, and that's what we call a nested list, a list inside a list, or a data structure. So append, if you're appending, whatever you're appending becomes an additional item in that list. Clear is another list method that will remove all of the things from the list, but keep the list a variable. And then you can continue, you could add things back to it or treat it like a list still. Copy will make a duplicate of a list in a new variable, keeping all of the exact same things. Count, at face value, sounds like it's going to give you the number of items in the list. That's not what it does. Count takes one required parameter, and it will tell you how many times that thing appears in that list. So in this list, apple, banana, cherry, if I say list.count value and put apple in there, it'll say 1. So if I do this, come up here into my other list and I say apple again in that list, and then I print li fruit dot count, and I say apple, just like that. Then it prints 2 for apple. If I print orange, then it prints 1, obviously, because one orange in there. Now, if I want to know how many items total are in that list, if I want to know how many items are total in that list, and let's say I combine these here. So I print, so my li fruit list looks like this now. It's got apple, orange, kiwi, apple, and then it's got this other list of cars. If I want to find out how many things are in my li fruit, then I'm going to use a Python function called length, or len. Len will tell me that there are 5 things in that list. And the reason, remember, print li fruit, remember, the reason for that is because this 0, 1, 2, 3, and then number 4 is that whole list. So this list, li fruit, has 5 things in it. The 5th thing being a list. That's how we count that. So if I want to find out how many things are in that sublist, I would use the index to refer to that specific sublist. And you can see now it's giving me 4 because there are 4 things in that sublist because I'm referring to that data element. So how you refer to these things does make a big difference. But len, length, will tell you how many things there are in a list. Index will give you the index of a specific value in the list. It'll give you the index of the first one it encounters. So if I say list.index and then I say banana, it will return 1 because that's in the first spot in that list. Insert takes 2 required parameters. It takes a position as an index number, and it takes an element. So this is where you can insert a value anywhere at a specific position in a list, whether it's the beginning or the middle or before or after a certain value, something like that. So if I want to insert something at the beginning of the list, the position is going to be 0. So if I want to insert instead, if I wanted to put the cars at the beginning of my list, I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to use insert, and then I'm going to put 0 for the position and li cars, which means it's going to shove it right in here before Apple. So when I print that out, my list of cars is right there before Apple. And if I wanted to do something normal like add a fruit, I would just say some generic fruit there, and that's going to put that at the beginning. Let's say if I wanted to put it right before orange, orange is the number 1 index. So I would type 1, and then my generic fruit gets put in right there. So that's how you can insert something in a list. And remember, once you do that, the list order stays the same until it's changed again. Okay, we talked about pop. The position is optional on pop. If you just want to take the thing that is last on the list and remove it and return it, that's what pop does without any arguments. Otherwise, you give it a number that represents the index you want to pop. Remove does something similar to pop. It does not return what it removes, but instead of an index, it is going to use the actual value. So if I don't know where banana is on my list, or I don't know where kiwi is on my list, and I want to say just li fruit remove, I don't know where kiwi is, but let's get rid of it. I just do that, and that removes that value from the list. So remove uses value. Pop uses position or index. Reverse will reverse the order of a list, flip the direction, which is useful. Sort will allow you to sort a list. It has an optional element or an optional parameter called reverse. So I can, if I just call sort without any parameters, it will sort either in alphabetical order if they're strings, or it will sort them in numeric order from 1 to 100. If I say reverse equals true, and this is a keyword argument, so I want to use reverse equals true, like this, reverse equals true, then it does it in reverse. It'll go from Z to A, or it'll go from 100 to 1. So sort is useful. You can always keep things in order that way.